Hey, Matilda. Just got that quarterly report for you.
Come back later. I'm busy.
Yep, we'll come back later. And just so you know, that whole bathroom situation, totally taken care of.
Good. Did you make her lick the bowl clean?
Yes, we did. We made her lick it clean. Nothing for you to worry about there.
Good, and one more thing. This coffee, I think, might be cold. You want to try it with your eyes?
Jag har radat upp anställda och skrikit på dem och sagt hur dåliga de är på sitt jobb.
We have to be synced.
Dåligt. Jag har aldrig sett så mycket människor så pass nedbrutna.
We're so sunburned. You know.
Jag sov ingenting och jag fick fruktansvärd ångest varje dag, varje gång jag klev in på det kontoret.
You guys can see the trash can, can't you? Whatever, don't care. There's like 5 minutes of sunlight left. And we're on a budget here, so strap in. You know what really tickled my fancy back in the day? Undercover Boss. Such a great encapsulation of 2010's corporate culture. You got to see these CEOs come out of their ivory tower to pretend to be a minimum wage worker for the day.
Kylo is going undercover among Starkiller-based personnel as Matt, a radar technician.
And act shocked when they find out that their minimum wage employees actually do have hopes and dreams and don't actually like them.
And Kylo Ren is a punk bitch. That guy looks like he weighs 30 pounds soaking wet underneath that little black dress.
Tim! Oh no, he's choking on food.
But I've always said I want a show that switches it up. Instead of having the boss go down and judge his lowly employees, I want the employees to go up and judge their bosses. And you know what? I kinda got my wish with the peculiar case of Matilda Djerf. I know I'm a little late to the party on this one, but I literally wasn't even uploading YouTube videos when this whole Matilda Djerf situation first came to a head in December of 2024. And if you go take a glance at her IG, it pretty much just seems like another clean girl, European, quiet luxury, soft living influencer who also has her own brand called Djerf Avenue. Not a ton going on for a hater like me until you see this. That's right, before I closed out of IG and opened up my second favorite educational app, TikTok, I peeped this, a hilarious Instagram slide deck apology, which will lead you to this video of former and current Djerf Avenue employees, with their identities concealed as if they're in witness protection from the cartel, spilling the beans about Matilda and the workplace of Djerf Avenue. And unlike the frijoles that came in your Shein order, these beans are fresh. As far as I'm concerned, any influencer who is such a horrific boss that she can get 11 of her current and former employees in the same room to talk about her for what is apparently the Swedish equivalent of the New York Times, that is a woman I want to know more about. You had my curiosity, Matilda Djerf, but now you have my attention.
Gentlemen, you had my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
Did you get it? Did you get it? Because that scene is from Django Unchained, and her name is Matilda Djerf. You see what I'm saying?
The D is silent.
The D is silent. Okay, I'll stop. But listen, before we get into the controversy, in case you were like me just 2 weeks ago and had no idea who Matilda Djerf is or what Djerf Avenue is, let me get you caught up to speed. You know, I kick off the research process for these videos with the most reliable source of information on the internet, Wikipedia. And let me just say, the Matilda Djerf Wikipedia page is one of the most hilariously edited things I've ever read in my life. Seriously, there is stuff in here that reads like it was written by either ChatGPT or Matilda herself. Initially financing her travels through modeling assignments and brand collaborations, she gradually transitioned into a full-time influencer by 2018. Despite initial hurdles, particularly negotiating fair compensation, she persisted, advocating for the recognition of influencer work and setting boundaries and partnerships. She persisted. Oh, we're really in 2019 now. Or how about this? Djerf has described in various interviews that she always disliked having a boss and working under others, and that she instead saw herself being more appropriately suited to leadership positions whereby she could enact changes and improvements in the workplace. Oh, trust me, we know she dislikes working with others. There's no citation for that one either, but the evidence is out there. Apparently one of those changes and improvements she's so passionate about was making her employees scrub her toilet. Listen, one day I want to have a Wikipedia page, and I need one of you to go on there and write some about how I knew at age 16 that I was passionate about leadership and making improvements in the workplace. But yeah, I was interested in improving at age 16. improving my Fortnite game, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Matilda got her start influencing on Instagram circa 2016 when she and her then boyfriend Rasmus Johansson, which is a sick name, I can't lie. But anyway, Matilda and Johansson took some journeys to Bali and Australia, taking bikini pictures of Matilda and travel photos along the way. And listen, say what you will, but at age 19, taking off a year to travel around the world with your boyfriend, I mean, I didn't know that was an option, quite frankly, but good for you. And when Matilda came back to Sweden, she had over 100,000 Instagram followers and continued growing her following, honing her aesthetic, and getting famous for her perfectly coiffed, scroll-stopping hair. And if you're wondering how she gets it so voluminous, it's because of all the secrets she hides up there. And along the way of her rise, Matilda has made a point of pointing out the negative experiences and mistakes she had in her earlier days of being an influencer, like taking modeling gigs for free or letting brands take her modeling photos and edit them to make her skinnier, her skin smoother, etc., etc. And so in 2019, when she started her own brand, Djerf Avenue, a big part of its ethos was not using edited pictures. All the images on the brand's website are real, with models of all races, sizes, abilities, etc., with nothing touched up. I mean, great, what's the problem? Everything sounds great to me, guys. And in 2023, Djerf Avenue did 35 million in business, probably even more in 2024, with pop-up shops in cities like New York, LA, London. I know I need to stop doing the British accent joke. I know, it's like 3 videos in a row. Hashtag stop British hate. I love you all, by the way. If there's any British people, drop a comment, okay? You guys are the best. Governor! Oh, and also one other thing. Her then boyfriend, now husband Rasmus, is also a co-founder and the CEO of Djerf Avenue. So Matilda's the creative, Rasmus is the operations guy. Together, power couple, power team. But just keep that in mind as we move forward, that there is still a man we can throw under the bus here, if necessary. And yeah, Djerf Avenue is really a reflection of Matilda's style. A lot of Scandi-inspired staple pieces, some neutral colors, a lot of baggier looks, which Matilda's into, and they've also got these go slow, fruit pattern PJs, which every girl just had to have for some reason. And listen, I won't judge your fruit PJs, alright? Just don't judge me when I show up to the function in the Pickle Rick special. And yeah, I would also say Djerf Avenue splits the difference in terms of sustainability and ethics. They're produced in Portugal, Italy, and Sweden, which is good in terms of worker rights and pay, but they don't really claim to be a sustainable brand anywhere on their website, though Matilda in interviews says basically, hey, we're trying, we're doing our best over here, huh? Take that as you will on that one, probably do your own research. But with that being said, $35 million brand, 3 million Instagram followers at the time. She's dropped off a little bit since then, but I mean, everything's going great. What could possibly go wrong? Okay, before we get into the latest controversy, let me take you back in time to December 2023 for the first big Djerf Avenue problem. December 2023, I remember it like it was yesterday. I still had a job, I didn't know what a skibbity toilet was. Oh, and Djerf Avenue was copyright striking TikTokers like it was gonna be the hottest Spring 24 trend. So basically, a whole bunch of TikTokers were doing reviews and making content with dupes, or more accurately, rip-offs of Djerf Avenue products from Amazon, AliExpress, etc. Especially those fruit PJs from earlier. There were a bunch of knockoffs being made which stole the fruit pattern one for one, and so Djerf Avenue started copyright striking creators who were featuring them, promoting them, or worse, giving out affiliate links to Amazon to purchase them. And listen, I don't love what Matilda's group was up to here. I don't love it. Specifically, they copyright striked someone who was talking about the actual Djerf Avenue Go Slow PJs.
Good about supporting the original designer, so there's that. Moral of the story, I was hyping up their pajamas that I bought from their website. So you can imagine my surprise when I woke up to this message.
But anyway, Matilda started getting a ton of hate over this. She had to deactivate her TikTok account, and then Djerf Avenue put out an Instagram story explaining they had retained an external IP protection firm to go after these cheap knockoffs and didn't intend for individual content creators to be affected. Which, first of all, this is a very nice setup, okay? Let me say. You're in some hot water, and instead of you addressing it, you just send out your company, which is named after you, to take the heat for you. Now I know if I ever get caught lacking, I can just open up Mark Avenue and have those idiots take the fall. But look, I actually do buy what Djerf Avenue is selling here. Well, not the fruit jammies, but the explanation of like, look, we hired this firm to protect our IP, and they're a little too trigger happy. I don't see a problem with Matilda wanting to protect her brand, especially when the aggressors are cheap Chinese Amazon knockoffs. talking polyester crap. And the criticisms leveled at Matilda during this episode held up to scrutiny worse than my aloe sweats held up to a single wash. People were saying, oh wow, she thinks she can trademark Scandi style. She thinks she can trademark being a clean girl. This is ridiculous. Which, she never did any of that. But okay. And also people were pulling images of Djerf Avenue clothes that were clearly inspired by pieces in Matilda's own wardrobe to say that, look, she ripped off other people too. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but green pants or a brown trench coat are not copyrightable pieces of clothing. Like saying Chinese knockoffs making copies of Djerf Avenue's print is the same as Matilda making her own version of a white t-shirt is crazy. There are thousands of brown trench coats in the world, but there's only one Djerf Avenue fruit print, and thank God for that. All I'm saying is we're comparing apples to oranges here, or in this case, comparing cherries to f***ing, what is that, guava? I don't know, is that f***ing guava? But as I've thoroughly proven at this point, the score is now Matilda 1, TikTokers 0. But don't downvote me yet, because we're only at halftime. Let's fast forward to December of 2024, crack open our Swedish Duolingo, because we got an expose to watch.
Det är flera som berättar att de haft sömnproblem och behövt gå till psykolog under sin tid på arbetsplatsen. En återkommande stress är vad många beskriver som en favoriseringskultur, där man flyttas upp och ner i hierarkin.
On December 12th, 2024, the Swedish publication Aftonbladet, I'm gonna go Aftonbladet, published an article and a 9-minute-long video with 11 current and former Djerf Avenue employees who described in detail Matilda's character and the work environment at Djerf Avenue. But the short of it was that behind Matilda's clean girl aesthetic was a mean girl lifestyle. In the video, Djerf Avenue's employees described a culture of bullying, favoritism, and psychological terror created by Matilda. Let me read you some of this straight from the article, which, full transparency, I translated using Google Translate. The picture of Djerf Avenue that emerges is consistent and describes a workplace where Matilda Djerf's mood sets the agenda. Swearing and condescending comments are described as everyday occurrences. People are feeling terribly bad. I've never seen so many people so broken down. It finally became every day to think about how many people cried yesterday. How many will cry today? Will I cry today myself? Again, Google translated, but I think we can read between the lines here and use the power of deduction to see that this is not great. It's not ideal. And I mean, I'm still in love with the hair, Matilda, but like, are you using your employee tears in those highlights? The most salacious accusation I would say is that Matilda, as the boss, has her own toilet, but that she also allowed her favorites to use it. The bathroom also had a please do not use note on it, which apparently once fell down, and so a random employee who wasn't supposed to use the bathroom used it, and then another employee had to scrub the toilet before Matilda would use it again. Now look, I'm gonna come out and say, full stop. What is the point of being hot and rich if you can't take a shit in peace? I think Matilda's making some decent points there. But also, was the employee who accidentally used this bathroom on their first day or something? Because this picture is being painted of Matilda / Miranda Priestley / Cruella de Vil terrorizing this office. And I'm just asking, how did nobody stop this poor schmuck from using the Queen's throne? Is anyone hearing me on this? And also, unless this person was fighting demons on that toilet, how did Matilda ever find out that anyone else used it? I'm just saying, this feels like a setup. This feels like an intern was being hazed. I don't know. I'm asking the hard-hitting questions that Aftonbladet won't ask, okay? Where's my Pulitzer? But yeah, obviously an employee being forced to scrub a toilet is fucking crazy. That's probably the most insane behavior that's in here. And the other major allegation from Matilda's employees is that she doesn't actually care about inclusivity, that even though the company uses all those different models on social media, it wasn't genuine. And the evidence given of this is that Matilda once got a photo shoot back of a plus-size model and said it needed to be retaken because she, quote, looks so damn fat in these clothes. Again, not great. Not great at all. Obviously, Matilda had to address these allegations herself this time since she was the one at the center of them, which she did in an IG comment and then an IG story and then that IG slide deck that I showed you at the beginning of the video. All of which is still on her account, which I respect. People who apologize for things and then delete them 5 minutes later, it's like, all right, well, that's kind of weak. All that stuff is still up there if you want to go take a look. But also, to be honest, calling them apologies is probably giving them too much credit. She doesn't really take accountability. It's just kind of like, sorry that happened to you. And that Djerf Avenue is going to hire an HR firm or something. Whatever.
Many of you know that my way of expressing myself is through words.
Sa Matilda att men det här måste vi ta om. För hon...
She lost something like 300,000 followers during this whole ordeal. Like, basically 10% of her following, I think. That's how math works. So yeah, people are not happy. But before I end my short-lived YouTube career, let's roll the conclusion card. Why didn't I film like this? My God, my back is hurting. I really should have set this up further back. Oh, this is so nice. Okay. Let me just start off with a level set that Matilda Djerf is very clearly not a nice person. Just saying the image of her personality being painted in this picture is very much Ariana Grande licking them donuts. But here's the first of several scorching hot takes. Number 1. What did anyone actually think she was like? I get the whole, well, she sells this image of her being this super nice, super sweet girl. And yes, she sells that image. But what did you think she was actually like? Like, one of the complaints that her employees brought up in that expose was that she would make a snide look at them for using public transportation. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, who is shocked by that? What part of her hyper-curated, hopping out of a G-Wagon, showing off designer image was screaming progressive views on public transportation to you? She's an influencer selling an image of her luxury hotel and rich lifestyle. And also, side note, I hate people who say that this is, oh, it's aspirational content. No, it's rich content, okay? Not all of us aspire to look like we live in a Restoration Hardware ad. But listen, do you think you get into that business, the business of selling this lifestyle, by thinking,
hey, all of us are great in our own unique ways, and actually biking to work is cool and eco-friendly?
No. No, you don't. You get into that business by being rich and hot and by making other people want to be rich and hot. And there's nothing wrong with that. I want to be rich and hot too, okay? I'm prioritizing new air fryer recipes at this particular juncture, but I'm gonna get there. But why would anyone assume that being rich and hot makes you a good person? Again, not using the principles that Djerf Avenue lays out on its website, just looking at Matilda and what she says, why would you ever think that? Again, this is a woman who, according to Wikipedia, knew that she was built for leadership when she was a teenager. I'm not saying you should judge a book by its cover, but I'm saying you can get a clue as to the genre of book based on the cover. And this leads to my second point, which is that we really need to stop idolizing influencers or public figures in general. I repeat, you do not know who these people are. You do not know what they're like behind closed doors. I mean, for all we know, Elmo could be on Sesame Street right now, calling Cookie Monster fat and telling him to clean his toilet. So did Matilda Djerf pull one over on you, or did you let Matilda Djerf pull one over on you? Ooh, we in the Matrix now. Again, this is not to excuse her behavior at all, but anyone who's worked at a startup or a small company or small business knows how toxic those environments can be. Literally, I could have told you that Djerf Avenue is a nightmare based just on how Matilda describes how she hires people. I mean, like, listen to this. You have to like to work, be a problem solver, and take your own initiative. I say that passion is the best personality trait, and you need it to be part of a startup company. It's a lot of work, and you need to like that. We are such a great team of people who share the same passion for the brand and vision. We all understand where we want to go with Djerf Avenue. So when we're looking for new hires, we always try to find that kind of person who likes to get their hands dirty, but also has a lot of passion. Listen to me. If you're ever interviewing for a job at a company, and they tell you that one of the prerequisites is you need to like work, run as fast as you can in the opposite direction. I know there's people out there who know what I'm talking about. If you've ever worked for a small company and you have some nightmare fuel to share with us, please do in the comments. We are here for you, and more accurately, we are here to laugh at your pain. But for real, the red flags about Djerf Avenue were all over the place, but nobody cared when those sweet guava PJs were hitting the streets.
And are you happy being here at Djerf Avenue?
I'm very happy being here at Djerf Avenue. We have so much fun together.
Don't we?
We do.
We do.
Sometimes, like, a little bit too much fun.
Oh, yeah. That's not good. No. Remember, I'm your boss. No, I'm kidding.
And criticizing Djerf Avenue for using plus size and diverse models when Matilda herself isn't into it. Again, you're telling me this perfectly manicured, hot blonde woman who made her career off her appearance is going to be judgmental of other people's appearances? I mean, next you're going to tell me the moon is made out of cheese. And that brings me to point number 3, which is that people use controversy like this as an opportunity to dogpile. I respect changing your opinion of someone or of something based on new information. I think that's important. That's maturity. That's why I started drinking 2 bottles of wine every night when I found out that the antioxidants were good for me. But when these toxic workplace allegations came out, the internet does what it always does, which is people coming out of the woodworks all of a sudden with random stuff that has nothing to do with what was being talked about. Did you know that Djerf Avenue didn't pay its models for its New York show? Did you know that they use recycled polyester in some of their clothes? All of a sudden, people are saying, what do I do with my Djerf Avenue pajamas? Do I throw them out now that we know that Matilda's a bad person? Like, what are we doing here, folks?
Mark from the future here. I just wanted to underline, because I feel like I made the point poorly, that what I'm saying is that problems like models not getting paid or sustainability concerns are just baked into the way we think about clothing companies or fashion in general, and so we excuse them, influencer brand or not. But when it's something that optically looks bad, like being a horrible boss to your employees or betraying that nice girl persona that you put out on the internet, then all of a sudden everybody has a problem. And even most of the people who are now saying like, oh, what do I do with my Djerf Avenue, only are saying that because they don't want to be judged by other people for wearing a brand that's been quote unquote canceled. They still don't care about the models or these other things. They just wanted to bring them up to be like, oh yeah, like Matilda Djerf sucks, like totally. Even though it's a total self-report, because that information was out there at the time that they bought those clothes and they didn't care then and they don't care now.
Like you're gonna throw out your PJs because you found out that the woman who designed them is concerningly passionate about bathroom hygiene? What are you worried that your dog is gonna judge you for supporting Matilda Djerf while you're laid out in your fruit PJs watching the latest episode of Love is Blind? Popcorn butter sliding down your neck. Okay. Alright, what am I talking about? And Djerf Avenue uses recycled polyester in their clothes. Oh my god, what a scandal. It's not like they have a whole page dedicated to it on their website. Was knowing Matilda's a terrible boss a prerequisite to learning how to read a care label? My point is, if you want to say Djerf Avenue sucks and you shouldn't support it, I'm down. Let's do it. There's great ground to cover here with the mixed messaging on sustainability, with the Djerf Avenue resale store, which absolutely promotes overbuying by pushing people to take store credit and buy more clothes. Also, there's a lot of day one fans out there saying that the quality of the clothes have been going down. Let's talk about that. But if you're going to criticize Matilda, I think it's more interesting to criticize the culture that led to her being put up on that pedestal, even though she hilariously got kicked off of it. Because I can promise you, with the exception of the whole bathroom thing, that there's people in New York and LA who work with influencers and celebrities who can tell you that the culture at Djerf Avenue is far from outside the norm. Let me read real quickly from Matilda's Djerf Avenue mission statement. I want you to feel like you're stepping into our world when you shop with us or just hang out on our socials. A Djerf Avenue world filled with kindness, inspiration, respect, and the perfect wardrobe staples. Well, look, unfortunately, kindness, inspiration, and respect are not part of a clothing brand. But hey, they are a lot easier to fake than sustainability, creativity, or quality, at least for a time. Like Matilda could have made the principles of the brand live, laugh, love, and there'd be 10,000 people on TikTok right now being like, my world is shattered. Matilda doesn't actually live, laugh, or love. I guess my point is, if these allegations truly shock you, then please sell your Djerf Avenue on the official resale stop, because I need Matilda to get her 30%. As we now know, she's been cracking that whip, working hard to keep her employees in line, and I think we need to recognize her efforts. Also, let me bring it back up. Where was her husband, Rasmus, this whole time, the CEO of the company? Or any of the other top people at Djerf Avenue? I mean, was there not a single person in the building who wasn't a complete enabler? Your whole gravy train is dependent on the public loving Matilda, and you're letting her run around the office, turning it into the biggest human resources liability since the Oppenheim Group? I mean, what was Rasmus even doing in the CEO chair? He's just sitting there like, hey man, happy wife, happy life, as Matilda's in the next room over, like shoving the marketing girl's face into the toilet. I mean, you just hate to see it. You just hate to see it. Failure from top to bottom. Let's be real here, guys. But anyway, like and subscribe. You know, call me a Djerf Glazer in the comments section. It helps my engagement. And, you know, follow me on Instagram, because pretty soon I'm going to announce my own brand on there. A brand based around my 3 core principles: community, happiness, and terrorized interns.